I do like the profit pickup. I do believe there's really no way to deal with it right now with the draft RNG you've gone for. And quite frankly, in this current meta, that Nature's Prophet is just so strong regardless of what you have against it. Like, you've got some decent catch there in the Clockwork Quap already. Like, you can close the gap, you can scout him out with the Rocket Flare, you can kind of keep tabs on where this Prophet's going. But the hero itself is just so broken right now. Uh, he's just never weak, it seems, right?
Yeah.
Like in the laning phase, he hits like a truck. His trains allow you to secure CS and harassment with basically for free.
Mm.
Uh, Even during the mid game, you pick up 1, 2 core items, you become a complete beast, right? Like, how many prophets have we seen now that just go for an orchid and suddenly they're just unkillable and they're killing everyone else? Even the
Yeah.
Blade Mail build is quite strong. But I do like where RNG have gone with this, John. The Clinks pickup. It's
Oh yeah.
almost like the very old school counter pick to these Nature's Prophet cores.
Yeah, it's a great pick for RNG, I think. Considering what lineup they have as well, tying it up with the Clinks allows them so much more aggression early on, right? You don't need too much farm to be effective with all of these heroes. They can get up and running once you hit that level 6 mark. Again, you've got a lot of flexibility still with where to toss all of these heroes. I think with the Clinks here, you want to build somewhat similar to the NP. Like maybe the Orchid build is great here just to intercept, punish the split push coming out from the NP. So you've got solid options there. The response from EHOME is pretty interesting. They go into the Disruptor. So it's the Shaker Phoenix Disruptor. A lot of team fight coming out there. One of these will have to be a core. It's looking like perhaps the Phoenix core, the Shaker core for EHOME.I, RNG, they respond with a Mars. So they're tying up their team fight as well. They're tying up their control. They've got decent combinations here, like Mars, Clinks, and Queen of Pain are pretty good in AoE. Still, maybe not as solid in terms of fully locking people down compared to a Static Storm, but it's equally as potent. So rather explosive drafts from both sides, and rather different from what we've been seeing from, say, Southeast Asia, for example.
It is rather different, right? You've still got that ES Phoenix Prophet and the Quap, which has been quite popular in SEA, but even the Clockwork did start coming up a little bit in SEA as well, near the end of the last cast we did. The Disruptor, though, that kind of put a spanner in the works for me. I
Mm.
don't really see the point of the Disruptor here. Like, I agree that there's a hell of a lot of value, because you've got the Quap, you've got the Clockwork, and you've got the Clinks, all of which you'd love to glimpse back throughout an attempt to catch them or a team fight. Obviously, you want to keep control of these guys that can really get away quite fast. But then you've put your draft in a really awkward position now, right? Because you don't want that Phoenix core. You don't really want the Earthshaker core either.
No.
They don't feel great in that core role anymore. Phoenix we've been seeing played as a POS 5, but if you play it as a POS 5 now, you've got a POS 4 Disruptor. And that feels kind of terrible as well. So
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
it's
Obviously, it's the thing though, right? We haven't been in the region for a bit of time. We don't
mm.
really know the Chinese meta that well at the moment, I suppose you'd call it, right? If you wanted to say it that way. So we should reserve judgment and wait to see what eHome's got up their sleeve. As RNG, they'll go for their last pick. They
Ooh.
go into the Troll Warlord now. And this is that final pick that'll round off this draft and tell us what's going on here for eHome.
Yeah, they've got a shorter hand. I think it's a pretty solid troll game already for RNG. You only really have to worry about maybe the disruptor and the NP keeping you in control. Beyond that, the troll can deal with a Phoenix Egg, so can your Clinks, and to a certain extent your Quap. So you have a way of dealing with that team fight coming out here, and the troll doesn't really worry about any of these heroes. Nothing really bursty unless you get a very fast Orchid on that NP to catch the troll out. So looking like a decent troll game here for RNG. You don't have anything like the Oracle on hand to really give you the max value with the hero, but it's still pretty solid. I think it should be able to do what it needs to. For eHome now, as you mentioned, they have to show us what they want to do. It's still really tricky whether or not you go with Phoenix or Shaker Core. Either one is not that popular, and that does also bring us to the point where we might be seeing that NP mid coming out for EHOME.i, which, again, it's not too uncommon, but the performance has been middling. Really depends on what RNG tosses up there. Like, if you match the Mars against the NP, you're going to have an easy time eating those treants, so that's something to consider as well. And, ooh, they close it out with a
Okay.
Lycan, so
That
it
that
comes
makes more
together.
sense. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that Lycan does make the draft make so much more sense, right? Because now you've got these 5 heroes that can just be online so quick, and you kind of just by that 20-minute mark you're ready to go. There's not really like the Earthshaker might want to blink, pretty standard stuff. In terms of the Phoenix Disruptor, though, you don't need anything. You're just useful without any items really. And of course the core Lycan and Prophet is going to get farm priority anyway. So I guess the idea is let's just get our cores online and then just start running at them.
Yeah, and that draft can work out. I think you have to watch out for that early timer here from EHOME.I. RNG is going to have to be on point with a counter push. Their supports and their cores can kind of do that fine. Like, you've got the Quap, clear out waves, even Flywind can do a pretty decent job. Big thing is, EHOME cannot relent. They have to take those objectives, they have to force those fights, drown out and starve out the map, because if RNG manages to stall this out, well, they've got the Clinks to scale, they've got the Troll to scale, they've got the Queen of Pain to scale. Even the Mars scales a bit better than all of these heroes as well, so EHOME.I, really tight timer to play against.
That they do. See if they can make it work. Should be an interesting game one, to say the least. Of course, we haven't really seen much of EHOME.I ourselves either, right? We've cast a lot of RNG over the past couple months. We know what to expect from the Raw Never Give Up guys. In terms of the EHOME International guys, I don't know what to expect yet, but we'll find out soon. So the game has begun, John. I guess I never really asked you, but which draft did you prefer?
I'd say RNG's draft is a lot more solid. It's definitely a bit more easy to execute. There is a lot of potency in EHOME, though. I get worried for RNG because YDS we've seen a couple of times on a different team, but he plays a lot of Shaker. And when you give these kinds of pause 4 players their comfort pick, it can get really dangerous. So it's really off the back of how much aggression EHOME.I can make. I think when you have heroes like this on their draft, if they can maintain that lead, it becomes a bit hard to catch up.
It definitely can be. I think we just go back to that point you made about EHOME.I with their draft. If they could just get online and try to finish this game quick, then it could be the easiest game of their lives. But if they don't get to that point where they can finish it fast enough, up against, Monet Troll Battle Fury, even the Mars with the God's Rebuke, it's going to be very, very difficult to win this out later on. Of course, you've even got September. How could we forget the Clinks? These little guys can be a real problem once they've got that Orchid up. If he does go down the Orchid build, it can be very, very problematic for the side of EHOME.I. So they will secure the top bounty, and of course, the side of RNG will secure both bottom bounty runes. But I'm curious to see what September does with this offlane. Oh, excuse me, it wasn't a core Clinks, it was actually support Clinks.
Yeah, it's something we've seen a couple of times. Again, not so common in Southeast Asia and even China. It's not the most common thing, but I believe it has been making a pop-up in Europe and CIS, so there's that. It allows you early aggression, a lot of early damage. You really have to be active to start piling up those death pack stacks, but once you have a couple, you can hit pretty hard without too much farm.
Absolutely. Like super there on the clock. Gonna go aggressive very early on here. YDS can't really do too much to stop him from doing this. All you've got is the Fisher and the Fire Spirits and the Phoenix, and both of those are just so lackluster in the earlier stages.
Yeah, it's a tricky dual lane. Like, you have a lot of EXP that needs to go to both heroes, and with how forward RNG is, you might not be able to get that smooth EXP curve.
Yeah, another nice Fisher out from YDS will actually stop them from pursuing the kill onto the Phoenix. But definitely a risky situation here for him. Super now, going to jump onto YDS as well. So YDS, it'll be okay. The creep wave was coming in. We'll have a look at the other lanes while we've got a chance. Of course, mid lane, you'll see Blood up against Setsu. Setsu on that Queen of Pain is somewhat behind in terms of CS right now to that core Nature's Prophet. But that's to be expected, right, in this Prophet, because he's got like this amazing attack animation as well, where you can't really screw it up. Bot lane First Blood will come out September. He does end up getting ZZQ.
Yeah, it's really important for September. You see that, Mike? Level 2 on the Clinks, has the Death Pact, gets 5 damage for that kill. If September keeps that pace, again, he's going to have enough damage to just rotate without too much farm, and that's really one of the valuable things about that support Clinks.
They can really just go into a core build as well very, very quickly, depending on how good their game is. You've got to be very careful about this September Clinks, as it could just get out of control if he gets a couple more of those. Because back to that mid lane though, Blood's having a good old time right now. He's not necessarily beating Setsu anymore, but I think if he can keep this up on the Prophet, it could spell good news here for EHOME, as top lane, Super, getting Fisher up in a lot of trouble, and he will end up going down. Great Fisher out from YDS.
Yeah, it's starting to turn around for EHOME up top. They've got their level 2s up. Really should kick into gear once you get 3 or 4 up on either hero. Then you can really start pumping that damage out. You have to be careful with this dual lane for RNG, right? The clock, it's amazing in the first 3 levels. I think it tapers off just a bit, especially with Troll as your partner. Can't expect too much aggression to match the control that EHOME.I has.
Bot lane, Flyone, he's going for something. He gets a spear off onto ZZQ, and God's Rebuke will just melt him. Not even close. Meanwhile, top lane, the Phoenix Planet, he'll be in trouble as well, and he gets caught out by the Battery Assault and Cogs of Super. But unfortunately for him, you can't Icarus dive when the Battery Assault's going on, because it just cancels it straight away.
Yeah, it's tricky. They found that kill earlier, maybe just overextend a tad, and that's enough to turn the lane for RNG. Even with that kill earlier on for EHOME.I, you know, Monet's still finding decent farm here. So you really need to do a bit more to stop the troll, otherwise it's just going to dip into the jungle, you know, work onto those Battle Furies and start farming even faster. Again, he has all the time in this game to just build up. EHOME.I, they've got to try to shut down from the laning phase all of these heroes on RNG side.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. September now, got a haste run on that Clink's going to run back down bot. Probably won't get a kill out of this, but he can provide a lot of harass there onto ZZQ. Well, he gets 2 shots off, it's not too bad. He'll just run away again. Top lane though, Planet, again having a tough time, does go for the Icarus dive and does get out this time around. He was very lucky though, John. He had the creep wave right next to him. And there was still a chance that Super may have connected with the stun at that moment that he dived. So, kind of gambling a little bit there. Obviously, it did pay off.
Yeah, it's a bit of a edge play there for Planet. The one nice thing about this kind of dual lane, though, is even if the Phoenix is forced out, YDS on the Shaker will really make use of that EXP. So there's a bit of a juggling act in terms of spreading that EXP out, and both heroes could benefit if you do overextend just a bit. So there's a bit of a saving grace there if things go south.
Absolutely. Setsu going to make a bit of a rotation now. He has the level 6, but looks like he just wants to get the bounty rune for himself. In terms of CS, though, Setsu's really started to take over now that he's got that level 2 Scream. And he actually opted to go for that Scream over the level 2 Shadow Poison, which makes enough sense up against the Nature's Prophet, because you do want that wave clear, and you want a nice way of just securing harasses. Monet ends up dying to the Nature's Wrath there of Blood. Planet was there as well, just trying to go on to that troll, and well, the Nature's Wrath was enough.
Yeah, it's one of the beautiful things about that NP, right? You can just go in the lane, force a kill out, you intercept this nice stack built up by RNG as well, and suddenly that deficit you had in the mid lane kind of goes away.
Yeah. Well, Super, all he can do right now is just stick around and try to soak XP from this double stack that he had going for the jungle. Oh, Monet, he's gonna have to run his way back. That's actually a huge loss here for RNG. Didn't realize he'd actually tried to TP out, but it looks like he actually tried to TP to escape that situation. And well, he's making the walk of shame back, John. It's not good news for the troll. He's gonna miss out on, I believe, 2 or 3 waves here. I'm not sure how many went past, but it was at least 2.
Yeah, it's not the best situation for Monet, and that will set him back just a bit. So EHOME.i starting to find a bit of a grip, at least in terms of applying out their own harassment and their own kills. It's still fairly smooth for Monet. He's not too far behind, although it's really not as good as the rest of the course, but he's at least better off than, say, Shiro down bot, or Lycan also off to a pretty rocky start himself.
Yeah, 30 and 3. I mean, you've got that jungle to go back to as the Lycan, at the very least, but the problem is going to back to that jungle right now. September's going to be stalking you, and in fact, Arena has been dropped. They do throw the Nature's Wrath out again, and that's just a threat in the side. In fact, never mind, it's not. Top lane is where the kills are still happening. Super goes down. Monet trying to make a run for it. He hasn't hit that level 6 timer yet, so September, he's going to come in and try and help out. YDS is going to keep chasing. Now Setsu also joins in. They try to TP away in time, but they can't quite get away with it. And Monet will end up surviving another day.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure from EHOME.i to shut Monet down. RNG responds in kind to rotate 2 more heroes to save that troll, and this is all RNG really needs to get done. Protect the troll, somewhat keeping up pace with farm and up against, like, say, Lycan. As long as you keep stalling this game out, RNG is still going to find something, and they do maintain a slight 2k advantage, so they're still finding more off the map than EHOME's faster draft is.
We're going to try again. September. He's going to start roaming through that triangle now. Looks like he just wanted the Death Pact, and he'll rotate mid. Setsu knows Blood is there, but now they'll also spot out YDS in the area. Blood gonna go for a TP back to the fountain. He'll teleport back, but September has vision of pretty much everything that's happening here. Now Super will show up onto YDS. ZZQ around the corner, and Blood comes in as well, but YDS may not be safe in this scenario. He'll go down, and Setsu, he does have a double damage rune active. He could try and turn this if he really wants, and he's thinking about it. Blood has to be very, very cautious. Setsu has a bit more time left. The rune will eventually wear off, and now Blood, seeing that, of course, will just chase him down. Gets a sprout off, but Setsu does have the blink. Just blink TP on the cliff, and he'll be perfectly fine. Can't say the same, though, for September, or rather Super on that clock. In fact, he looks like he might find the kill first. ZZQ is dropping very, very low. He does get the kill, but he's probably going to die in the straight afterwards. And he does. YDS will take the kill on the Earthshaker. It's just an even support for a support trade. Not too big of a deal.
Yeah, it's still pretty decent for RNG overall. They're forcing movement out from EHOME.i, so you've got the Lycan going into the jungle away from the lane. Does have his Necronomicon 1, and this speeds up Shiro's farm by a fair bit. But you're starting to look at the point where you expect the NP and Lycan to start applying some pressure in those towers.
That's what they'll do. Blood straight up towards that top lane. You'll have TPs coming in straight away from the Mars, so Flywind won't have a way to initiate quite yet. He is working on towards that blink, but they could try for the arena. He just doesn't have any help around the corner. Super is there, but now he's surrounded. September's going to join in. Nice spear back into the cogs on YDS. That'll force the Icarus dive out, but now Shiro comes in and a great Nature's Wrath out as well from Blood. Flywind forced to arena and just run away. And it looks like EHOME, they are ready to start applying that pressure now with this draft. And that is exactly what they'll try and do, but Flywind hasn't backed off yet. He wants to keep trying to defend this. He gets sprouted up, however. And with no arena, I don't believe there's really a chance. Instead, he just tries to deny Shiro of getting the last hit on the tower. But Shiro does get it anyway.
They're jumping on Monet down pot as well.
They are. Can they find him, though? Blood, he doesn't have the sprout up. You're kind of relying on YDS to get the stuns out, and Monet, he's falling low. He might need to pop that ulti. He does, right near the bounty rune, though. Now he gets sprouted up. They can't get him out of there. He'll just try and range axes his way to victory. In fact, he'll go onto Blood now with those whirling axes, but it will not be enough. Super comes in onto that Prophet. Meanwhile, September will burst down the egg. They already found the other support in the form of the ES, and now they get everyone else.
Ooh, it's not quite the punishment you're looking for from EHOME.i. Cost them a bit too much, especially in that NP. So it's a net win for RNG. They're still finding a bit more gold across their other cores, even if they sacrifice their troll for that. Still, EHOME.i used that time to get some chip damage out on that mid-tier 1.
Oh, ZZQ's dead. I mean, the chip damage is quite nice. I don't know if you want to keep giving kills away like that, though. That's the unfortunate part about the Disruptor this game as well. He's just so susceptible to dying every single time this Clockwork or Clinks is around. So September and Super just know that the Disruptor's free food for them every single time they see him. And he's got the level 3 glimpse up, which is nice. But if you've got both supports there, you've really got no chance of survival. And now they're going to smoke up RNG. Where do they go, though? They're currently just running back towards their base. Looks like Super will be on the front lines. You'd love to scout out Shiro here, and Shiro is going to run the right way at the right time, but they did scout him out. They know he's going to that triangle. Smoke broken on Super. Rocket will again give vision. September still right behind. They don't actually have any sentries placed down in the triangle right now, so Shiro is a little bit susceptible, but he seems to know. And September, he'll reveal himself anyway. He just wants to take the creeps away from this Lycan and back off.
It would have been a pretty big pickup to find that Lycan. Shiro has been given a lot of space here from EHOME.i to try and keep building up. He's saving up for his Necronomicon upgrades. Once you have those beefier units, the push does get a bit easier, but before then, you know, he's just gonna have to farm up safely in the jungle. And EHOME.i, they've done a pretty good job just grouping up in that bot jungle and staying safe for now.
You still got to be happy with the fact as well that Monet hasn't farmed the best. Like right now he's sitting at 4.7k net worth. And in fact, hold that thought, because Blood has been caught out on the Prophet. Now that's definitely a huge kill to get. And Blood, he's trying to survive, but can he? No, he definitely cannot. September does end up getting the kill, and now September, or rather Planet is what I was meant to say, is falling quite low. But September is going to chase onto ZZQ. They get that kill. Now Shiro popping the wolf form, trying to fight back, but that is a dangerous kind of predicament to be in. They do commit the egg just in case they wanted to chase down the Lycan. Nobody really gets stunned up by it anyway. And RNG look to be trying to set up here for this bot tier 1 tower.
Yeah, it's a nice little objective for them to pick up off the back of those kills. Again, you're seeing that NP falling when you can't really afford Blood to die here. Yeah, your lineup in EHOME side is so momentum-based that every single loss on a core like this does hurt. Still, they want to trade for that mid-tier 1, they're trying.
But can they? Nice Static Storm coming out from ZZQ, holding 2 of them in, and now with the Nature's Wrath, they are going to get Setsu, and even September. He falls quite low, but Monet, he's trying to fight back on that Troll, going after Blood, but he doesn't have the damage right now. He gets sprouted up. Super, meanwhile, in the backline's going after ZZQ, almost gets that kill. Now Monet will secure, going after Blood. Here comes Flywin. He'll go after Blood as well, and does help secure that kill. Super will take that one, and now a great spear off onto the Lycan. Shiro trying to run his way out of there, but he's got no wolf form available, so all he can do is try and fight back as YDS comes in with a nice Echo Slam, but it's not going to be enough. The Battle Trance was there in time from Monet. Still keep chasing them down. Planet does at least secure the kill onto that Troll Warlord, but they're still going. YDS, he doesn't get speared. Still, September going after the Phoenix now, securing Planet instead, and YDS keeps trying to make a run for it. Can he get out? Or rather go back in on September? Maybe. Blood is TPing in. September, he's going to be trapped up. Setsu going to stick around there. Going back after the Earthshaker now. Kinetic Field is going to come out from ZZQ, but ultimately they are going to lose the ES, and they are not going to find a trade.
Ooh. It's, again, EHOME.i just not finding the counter kills they want. Their team fight isn't going off as well as they would like. I mean, yeah, they find the kill in Monet. Great. They're still losing their NP. They're losing their Lycan as well on top of that. And they're not really finding the objectives. So RNG widen that net worth lead to 9k. Not the situation EHOME.i wants to be in. Their lineup needs to be, at this point as well, on their end. They need to be the guys ahead early on, and it's just not happening.
Oh, Blood, not like this. Arena of Blood comes in as well, and oh, Blood is dead. They're going to Planet? He goes in with the X. Static Storm dropped as well. Flyman's going to be the target. They should be able to get him. Now Setsu actually trapped up as well. He didn't have the blink available. And, well, I thought it was kind of a weird egg to drop there, but with the Static Storm glimpse back onto Flywin and even the blink in from the Quap, it set up 2 easy kills.
Yeah, that works out for EHOME.i. Probably one of their better trades so far. Again, dropping their NP, but gaining so much more in the process for 2 cores. They do manage to clean up nicely and bring back that lead just a bit. Not too much just yet, but enough to swing it back, and they can start applying pressure to that top tier too. So more objectives that can come out, give them a little bit more map control, a little bit more gold. RNG, they're going to have to take a step back, wait for the respawns, give Monet space to farm. They have allowed him to pretty much just AFK down bot, so he's building up into his Battle Fury. Not the best timing, but he has been forced to be a bit more active than you see these pause ones tend to be.
But you know what the scary part here for EHOME International is, John? Is they're kind of, they're 8k net worth behind without that Battle Fury up on Monet.
Oh yeah.
It's a bit of a concern there, being that far behind in net worth, and you know the pos 1 still hasn't even got his main farming item up yet. So you know, let alone fighting item for the troll as well, because that Battle Fury does really enable the troll to start fighting at these earlier stages. But well, Flywind gonna spot out Planet there on the Phoenix. It's like he'll just take the regen rune and back off. Hookshot, though, is going to be great out from Super. Can they actually get the Phoenix, though? Well, they definitely can, or maybe they can't. Yules is there in time. Flywind's still trying. He misses the God's Rebuke. Oh, he mistimed it. And Blood, he's trying to TP out of there with the Blade Mail. Looks like he'll be okay. Flywind does the same thing. And everyone will get out with their lives intact. Very unfortunate there for RNG. In fact, never mind lives intact. They found the glimpse onto Super. That clock could be in huge trouble. Well, they'll use him up. Super has nowhere to go and will just accept his death.
It's, in the end, I guess that's like 2 ults for 1, or 2 ults for 2 ults, so even trade in the spell usage. Nice pickup on the clock, but not the most substantial. This will allow a bit more chip damage down mid, so you might see that mid tier 2 actually go down if they commit.
I think it's great damage being dealt here from EHOME.Immortal as well. It's just, might have to back off until that happens. ZZQ does get taken out. Now Blood going to try and go after September. He's going to make a run for it though. Flywind has Arena back up in about 8 seconds, so Blood or Orchid's going to come out, cancelling the teleportation. And this is not what you want. And even, well, hookshot there from Super as well, pushing the Phoenix back. Now the spear back into the cogs. And this Phoenix Planet, he has Icarus Dive. He will barely get away for now, but Blood, or rather, Flywind is on the chase. Planet going for the TP, but the neutral creeps. They may kill him and they don't, but September does with the searing arrows. And oh, another spear fly when he finds Whitey. Yes, he just knows exactly where this Earthshaker is, and they're going to secure another kill now on the Earthshaker. Just one after the other, they get caught out and they end up getting taken down.
Yeah, they keep finding these kills back for them, RNG. They're not losing objectives on top of that. And, you know, we were talking about Monet, he's got the Battle Fury. So they've bought enough time for the troll to find that big item pickup. They've even got the Desolator in September. This is just going to be so fast on the buildings and on the Roche.
Well, this is kind of what we talked about earlier on. It's the problem with the support Clinks, is you could just secure a core item like that and suddenly you become a powerhouse as well. But after the game, we'll have a look at how much damage the Clinks dealt, but I imagine it's going to be fairly high considering he is a support. You've already got that Orchid available on the Quap, so he definitely doesn't need that. So EHOME now. Well, their only choice is to really keep farming up and try to close this gap a little bit, maybe take a smoke fight, but it's kind of hard to imagine them closing this net worth gap. Like, we're at 14k now. And again, this is only basically starting because the troll has got the Battle Fury up. So it's like, do you keep farming? Do you take a smoke gank here? Maybe just wait for YDS to get that blink up first for sure. But after that, I believe you're going to need to take a fight.
Yeah, they need to force the momentum. They need to be the ones bringing the fight to RNG. They've got the superior control on EHOME.i, right? You've got the Static Storm, you've got the Slam, you've got the Egg. You just need to force RNG in a tight spot. If you can get that done, your spell use will win out. It's just EHOME.i have not found that opening. RNG has been disciplined enough to split up. They've been disciplined enough to force EHOME.i to jump 1 or 2 heroes at a time. And then they die, they come back in, they know the spells are used, they clean up. EHOME.i, they've got to be careful with how they exchange in terms of that especially with the spell use, but they're gonna have to try to defend now because these towers, they don't hold well when you've got a Clinks with that Desolator.
Yeah, and to make matters worse, Flywin's got a BKB. The Quops Setsu, he's got a BKB now up. You've got Bond being worked on by Monet. He opted to go for the Yasha first. But you get my point, John, is all this magic damage you have in these team fights may just not matter anymore. And it feels like EHOME has been so reliant on this in the previous team fights. But they're going to get started again on Super anyway. Wolf form being popped. He does get glimpsed back. Even Blood TPing in. Nice hook shot out, but he does go down anyway. And, well, RNG. They'll lose their pos 5 clock and they'll just back off.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Super's died so much, I don't think it really matters to him. He's at level 11 anyway. You know, he's buying space for his team. They don't really have to waste anything. That was a smoke rotation from EHOME.i. So they use that resource up. They find a support. Not the biggest takeaway. They can't transition to an objective in Ono.
Flywin. Glimpse back. Does get the arena off on ZZQ. He will just try to immediately TP out, and he will make it. Nice TP out from that disruptor. Now Setsu, he's just going to jump in anyway after Planet, but he'll Icarus dive out of there. RNG back to the drawing board for them. They'll have to just wait out the arena now. But there is a play they could make, and that's onto Blood down to the bot lane. If they spot him out, and I believe Super just may in a second. The Super is underneath the ward, and Blood will just take that as, I better leave the lane now. And he does. EHOME.Immortal just trying to bide their time while they can. Waiting for Shiro to get an AC up, I believe, on that Lycan before they get going again.
Yeah, it's going to help the cause, but it's not going to be blocking a lot of its magic damage as well. And, ooh.
Sonic Wave?
Ooh, Super. He missed his hook. He got blocked by the wolves. They were trying to stop that TP.
That's problematic. He wasted the BKB and Sonic Wave as well on Setsu. That's a decent loss, a pretty big win there for EHOME.Immortal. But now, bot lane, Blood, yeah, he trying to TP out, and the ensnare came in from Monet. He's just being chased down now. Can he get away with this? A nice Sprout to block the way, but he has the Quelling Blade, or rather Battle Fury, and now Monet will go ahead and secure that kill onto Blood. Meanwhile, top lane, another team fight's broken out. Planet and Blood, or Planet and YDS both go down, and now Shiro also going to end up dying. It's a full team wipe.
Oh, a team wipe from across the map as well, and they're tipping Blood for... It's not Blood's fault, you know, he was TPing out. He was doing the right play, he was trying to split push. It's just Monet got the root. You know, you can't help it. Still, not good signs for EHOME.i. They're losing fights across the map, they're not getting the initiation they want. The only trades they've been finding for the last 5 to 8 minutes have been supports. I mean, you kill the Clinks, great, you have to remember. It's not a farm prioritized hero. It's still not the biggest takeaway, and your bot tier 2 gone to Monet.
Nice fish shot. The T2 is gone though. They do kinetic field up. Monet just pops the BKB. He wants the fight, and he is hitting very, very hard right now with that Imclaw. And ZZQ's like, what have I done? I just TP'd into this situation. Setsu comes in as well. There is no saving these supports. I say supports. YDS is a core Earthshaker as well. No, he's not. He's a support Earthshaker. It is a core Phoenix. But you get my point. It's just... It's not good news for EHOME.Immortal. I believe they've just completely missed their timing. And you're kind of relying on just maybe landing a huge Echo Slam later on to try and push this back.
Yeah. It's not just the Echo. You need a great Static Storm on top. You need to be trapping them in. The Egg needs to be perfect in following up from all that control. And that's a lot to put on a perfect team fight. That is literally a perfect team fight. And nothing ever comes out perfect in real life.
Oh, nice arena coming out. Lycan being trapped up. Wolfform was being committed. He does get it off. Now Super with the hook shot in on Blood as well. Shiro's still in trouble. The Ek does come out, but Flywin just going to go straight after it. But he needs help. Nobody's there to help though. He does cop the stun. And now they're trying to turn around, but here comes Monet on that troll straight after Blood. Blood is still trying to fight up against Flywin, but he's got the shield up. Now ZZQ as well. Trying to get out of there, but he's been cocked up and he just can't survive it. And so RNG, they'll go back down through the mid lane, just waiting for their creep wave to join them. They've got a 23k net worth lead now as well to make matters worse. you've got to tell me, John, how do they come back on this Radiant side? Like, what are we relying on here?
At this point, the best situations for EHOME.i to fight into is a high ground defense or a Roche fight. Because that's the only time RNG will be funneled into a tight spot where you can depend on a perfect static storm, depend on the perfect Echo Slam, and the Egg follow-up. And outside of those situations, any fight outside where it's a full 5v5, based on how the execution's been going, RNG's gonna dance around. So EHOME, they need to find a situation where they have control, possibly on the high ground, maybe in the pit, where they can just toss all these spells out and take advantage. But it's just not happening. There's so much going on for RNG, not just with their net worth lead, but the information Super is constantly pumping out with his Rocket Flare and the scouting potential we have from September. It's just too much.
Oh, he tried to hook shot, but he gets stuck anyway by those wolves again. Still, they can't actually kill him off. Sonic Wave is great from Setsu, and now they're still trying to go after Super. He's way too tanky to deal with, though. ZZQ, he does die first. Now September being sprouted up. They are going after another, and that is going to be the Lycan going down in that arena, and now they found another as well. Blood gets caught out on the Prophet. And that is a real big concern, John. If you can't get through the POS 5 clockwork, how do you get through anyone else? I mean, in all fairness, he's got the pipe up and the bracer, which does make him a little bit tankier. But those are your cores hitting this clockwork, even the Lycan with the wolves up and the Necro units, and they just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, it's not a great spot. But again, it's down to the higher ground. RNG, confident enough, they just melt through. This is not even fair. There's no defense that can come out when towers melt this fast.
Nope. Hookshot comes in straight onto that ES. That's the one person you're relying on right now. The Bloodthorn is going to be there from Setsu. He does survive, however. No, he doesn't. September was there. Just one hits him. And they're going for the mid-racks. They could just go for Megas, I believe. They know how far ahead they are right now.
Yeah, it's yeah,
they'll
could
buy
try
back.
one last fight.
I mean, you've got the Echo up, you've got the Static Storm up, you've got to give it a shot, but you haven't got that Wolf form right now. He needs 15 seconds, the Glimpse back, Monet, he'll just BKB TP out, and so will the rest. Well, at the very least, they haven't lost everything. They've still got the range racks, and they've still got the bot tier 3 and that lane of racks as well. But EHOME, they are just trying to get that last team fight going. They realize they can't drag this out any longer. And, well, at least they're going to find Flying One. This could be a nice kill. They'll just commit the Echo straight away. The BKB's up, though, trying to make a run. Now the arena is there. They're all trapped in, but there's no help around for Flying One. And I know that looked like a pretty big committal there from YDS to just use the Echo like that, but I don't think you had a choice.
No, you definitely didn't. You have to take what you can get. And that's all they can find. I mean, there's still a 33k deficit here going RNG's way. And they've got a massive lead, and you've even got the AC up and running on Setsu. You've got the Ags on September. Even this support, Clinks, has more farm than your NP at this point from EHOME.i.
It's not a good look right now. Not a good situation. Ooh. ZZQ. I mean, he's hitting so hard on that Clinks. Hookshot doesn't connect onto Planet. He does TP out. It's a nice attempt with that hookshot from Super. Just a little bit off. RNG, I mean, they're just looking to set up here. They'll take control of the map. They'll just try to start slowly pushing in this mid and bot lane. There's no need to rush this. I mean, I don't mean to bring up the net worth lead again, but it just keeps increasing. There was a slight bump the other way once you got Fly One on the Mars. But apart from that, even Dota Plus right now is just sitting at 100%.
Oh yeah, that's one of the rare moments where you see Dota Plus completely give up, and EHOME.i, it's a very rocky climb back up. Right? They need to hold the high ground wall. They've got the spells for it. They just have to somehow preempt the BKB usages, but if they can be potent. Still, look at that Roche Mike. It's just two heroes.
You can't let that happen. This is the thing. They need to be able to fight this Roshan attempt, but they can't. When you look at Monet's items, when you look at the fact that he has the Sanjin Yasha, the Satanic, the Paladin Sword, of course he has a Paladin Sword, by the way. It's just, he's got so much lifesteal and resistance that even if you get through one life somehow, you're going to have to commit so much to get that one life. that I don't believe they'll have enough to get the secondary life.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna have to try, but I don't know if they really do have enough damage.
No, even with damage, I mean, it's considering the lifesteal and the fact that you don't have like a spirit vessel carrier, it's just hard to stop Monet from living. Anyway.
Super. Got his hookshot blocked again by those walls, but nice echo coming in from YDS. Is it enough though? It is not. He just pops the trance. Blood's now gonna die. A great sonic wave out from Setsu, and well, Shiro, all he can do is run. And that's it, they'll call it. That was the best opportunity they had. Static Storm does now come out from ZZQ, but the game's over. I guess they're just trying to hold them back from fountain diving at this point.
Oh man, RNG, spectacular performance, very, very aggressive from the get-go. They're the ones who brought control onto EHOME.Immortal. EHOME.i, they went with a faster draft with great team fight. They just couldn't find those openings, and let's see whether or not they can force it to a game 3 coming up next. I mean, you know, they've got to win game 2. It's their opening match on the line.
I mean, I like where they were going with the draft, right? I think we can both agree that the draft wasn't overly bad by any stretch. It's just the execution was very, very hard to pull off up against support Clinks, Quap, and even the Clockwork, who could just hook in on you anytime. Like, that Disruptor pick after the Clinks pick was... I could see why they wanted to do it, but it was just such free food. Like, poor ZZQ, with no fault of his own, died 13 times. And there's just nothing he could have done unless he stayed in the fountain. That's just...
Yeah.
Regardless, though, John, that's game 1. This is a best-of-3 series, so EHOME.Immortal, they have a chance to try and force this to a game number 3 and get a series win for their first showing of this Beyond Epic tournament. It is MLP Dota, and of course, johnxfire will be back in about 10 minutes for that second game of this BO3. We'll see you then.